Is it really the beginning of the show? Are we really gonna have the beginning of the show? Did I just eat a chocolate donut? You'd be right, 'cause I ate all the chocolate donut. That was my half. And the other half went to Victoria because she likes to eat all of the donuts. Chocolate flavored. Sometimes we like to sit down and eat some chocolate. Oops, wrong pipe. Too much chocolate. It's killing my throat, you guys. What's up, everybody? What's going on, internet? How you doing? I just got a notification that the Aquarium Cooperino just uploaded a video when he's uploading a video right when I go live. So, yeah. What's up? Apparently, I'm gonna have to start doing my show at like 9 a.m. or something. Should I switch over? Start doing the early morning drive time fish show? I don't know. We'll see. Might have to switch something up. Oh, excuse me. I got like chocolate in my throat. Oh, whoops. Whoa. Spilling coffee around over here. And yes, before anybody asks, I do drink iced coffee out of a mason jar with some sweet cream added, because I'm getting old, you guys. I gotta have a little sweet cream in there, otherwise it's too much. Just too much black coffee in my life, you know what I mean? Too much black coffee, gotta add a little creamer in there, because that's just too gangster when it's pure darkness. What's up, everybody? It's a brilliant Friday out here where it has been windy, it's been sunny, it's been rainy, it's been sunny again, then it was windy, then it was rainy, then it was sunny, then it was this, then it was that. So it shall continue on because it is apparently spring here, which means, you know what I mean, you know what I'm saying. Fish Tank Mars says, do 3 a.m. when the coopy's asleep. I could do like 5 a.m. because he's definitely asleep and I'm up. So maybe I'll do like the 5 a.m. fish show. Like, hey, everybody, it's super early in the morning, and let's talk about fish stuff. Does your beta have gill flukes? Whoa, let's figure it out. But speaking of the coop, the reason I brought it up is because he uploaded a video just a second ago. But we were talking about him in the early chat before the show kicks live. And I wanted to remind people, because I want a big shout out and say thanks to Jake for becoming a member on the channel. Appreciate it. It had come up earlier this week. That what's the word I'm looking for here? Oh yeah, Cory was here he wasn't on the show, but he was in the chat, and he had mentioned that if we get to 500 members on this channel, he'll come down and we'll do a real fish talk reunion. So just a reminder out there into the zeitgeist, we're at 71 thanks to Jake, and I did see that FishTube earlier was saying that there was a bit of a problem. You've triggered a bug. Maybe you became a member with too many people. You have to wait till the end of the month to become members on other stuff. So I'm interested to hear people's experience with that. Is it working? Is it not working or whatnot? But I appreciate everybody becoming members. It's a huge help. And, anybody out there that's wondering what the membership's all about, there's a join button on the channel. You could join to support if you like to support, or you could go over to Patreon if you like to support, or you could go through an Amazon link or a Aquarium Co-op link if you want to support, whatever. It's much appreciated. All goes into the production fund and stuff like that. And I definitely appreciate it. It's a constant reminder to me to just stay motivated and keep working and doing what we're doing here. Try not to kill myself and keep moving forward. And speaking of moving forward on some of the projects and stuff, one of the things that I am currently in the design process for or whatnot, research process location scouting. I'm not sure how you want to call it, but so far we're calling it the Scaper Makerspace type thing. If people are familiar with like a Makerspace, you know, it's the kind of spot where people could go work at. Maybe you go see a demonstration, something like that. We're trying to do an aquarium version of that down here in the old Tacoma. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And one of the reasons that could hopefully be possible is because what this show is brought to you today is by the Patreon, and I go over the Patreon community posts and questions and stuff like that. So that's what we're going to do today, and we're going to jump right into it. And one of the reasons we're going to jump right into it is because that's why we're here. That's why we're here. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why we're here, is we're able to be here. Oh, whoops. Hey, hold on. I have to switch this screen over here first. I hit the wrong button, and then I gotta hit that. Now I hit this. Whoop! There we go. Yeah, now it's working. Okay. And so all of these posts that you see here are actually from the Patreon page, which I would have to say we're building a little community over there. It's coming right along, and mad props to everybody over there. It can be as little as $1 a month. It's sort of like the NPR format of like, it's sort of like the NPR format sort of thing where, we're posting stuff and we're kind of networking to try and fund the kind of things like this Makerspace and stuff like that. And we haven't necessarily hit the goal yet. We're still rising up to do what we're going to do. Yesterday, spent some time I was up at the Aquarium Co-op changing some of the tanks and stuff around up there and working with Cory. We're planning on redesigning some of the system there and building out some stuff and doing some plumbing and working on the automated plant systems and stuff. And we are working on building out some more tanks there. And we did discuss some of the pricing on some of the tanks and things like that possibly would go into the Makerspace. So, kind of budgeting that kind of stuff and figuring those things out. And obviously it's not going to be cheap. It ain't going to be free. And, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes along. But, thanks to people like becoming members on the channel and graciously going over to Patreon and becoming a part of the Patreon group over here. I was planning on doing some live streams and stuff like that were going to be posted up on just the Patreon, and then they reconfigured their whole website. So it's like I had everything pretty much set up and ready to do it, and then now I don't know how to do it because they basically fixed a bunch of stuff and changed a bunch of things to make it fancier. You guys have been down this road before. And everything's working fine over there. I just am unsure about the how to live stream now. So from over there. So, we'll figure it out at some point in time and see how it goes. You know what I mean? We'll see how it goes. This was the post from last week. I think this was the last one that we did last week from Grassy Peak. Thank you very much. Loving it. And so let's go to this post here. And I want to make sure I attribute to Cheshire Cat. Wanted to make sure I get it right. Bunch of cool shots, honestly. Bunch of cool shots of some really cool fish. You guys will see me hit the like button. That's how I keep track when answering or just commenting on people's posts. Cheshire Cat says, it's hard taking photos of fish. I got a lot of beautiful but random photos of heads, tails, and scales, along with substrate, leaves, etc. I've gone back to the basics with mollies and platies, but different kinds than I've had before. I've had these for about 4 days now and have learned some of their personalities. 2 of the fish in the 3rd image, the panda platy. The fish in the 4th image is a scavenger, always going around, kissing objects, picking at things, and scrounging around. I picked up a golden panda lyre-tail platy in the 5th image because he seemed to be saying, pick me, and I thought it lively. Now I'm wondering if I mistook mental for lively. It's always doing random things like chasing bubbles and reflections, etc. I'm in love with the green lantern platy. They are gorgeous. I want more. I call the fish in the 6th photo the 2-spot because of the 2 spots on his tail, which the other lacks. I have to admit, like wherever you're getting your platies from, they have like a pretty wild assortment. Platies aren't necessarily my thing anymore. I think just like most people, I had some a long, long time ago, and it's been a long time since I've been keeping platies. But I do have to admit, they're a great fish for just about anybody until the population boom happens. Like they have like nothing built into them to consider their population numbers. They will just breed like crazy, which can be good. This could be good. Maybe you're in an area that doesn't have a lot of platies, and you could start breeding them and sell them back to the store for food and stuff like that. That's something that I'd always recommend to people. Like if you get into something and you're breeding a lot of something, you could definitely get into, a lot of trade-offs to stores and stuff like that. If you have good aquacultured fish that have been tank raised and stuff, you can definitely trade those off for, definitely store credit more often than not. You might not be getting cash, but store credit goes a long way for, especially if you're somebody in the hobby that's actually breeding and doing stuff. Let's see. FishTube says, speaking of remodeling, I see the coop holds its tanks up by only the ends. Isn't there a limit on how big of a tank you can do this for? Yeah, there definitely is a limit to how big you can do that, but the tanks in that store there, I think, are only 29s or something. It's not a lot to them, but you could do that, I think. I don't know. I wouldn't quote me on anything as far as that goes. There is a limit. I don't know off the top of my head, like, how big you could go or not, but there is a point where you do have an issue. Although I will say I've definitely built stuff I've built stands many times for glass tanks that only follow basically the black bracing. So wherever the black bracing is, I've done that many, many times with up to, I think the biggest ones I did was a bunch of 210s. So we did a bunch of 210s that way. I've done a lot of 120, the glass 120s. I've done a lot of them that way. But I've never done just the sides on anything that big, so I'm unsure, and I've definitely haven't researched it. But there is a limit to how far you can stretch and still be able to hold weight. That's for sure. Rhinos Aquatics says, "Heyo, what's up? Good to see you, Arcadio. How you doing?" Let's see here. 54 Punchy posts the Patreon page in case you were confused and you're like, where are those guys? There's a link right there. You can go check it out. Like, you can be like, what's he talking about? This is what I'm talking about right here. Baby pandas from Lexi V. I found a teeny tiny baby fish in my tank. It's way smaller than the new baby guppies, but the only other fish in my tank are panda cories. I never saw any eggs, but are newly hatched pandas that small? Yes. Yes, they are quite small. They're surprisingly, I think the smallest thing that I see on a regular basis would be like baby shrimp, like crystal shrimp and Neocaridina shrimp. Like when they're babies, they are live hatched from the shrimp, and you can see them, but man, can you they're like so small. So a lot of things hatch and they're very tiny. So yes, I would, and I've hatched cories in the past and stuff like that. They are quite small. The easier way to pick them out would be to put them in some kind of white container. And I was gonna reference a container that most people would not know what I was talking about. I was gonna say like a freezer jam tub. Most people aren't going to know what I'm talking about when I say freezer jam. They're just going to be like, what is this weirdo talking about? But like a sour cream container, or maybe like a yogurt container, like a Greek yogurt container, something like that. You can scoop them out. You get that nice, white, the backdrop is all white, and then, you'll be able to see what you got. You can really pick them out quite well. Tizzle Dexter says, what is a good length of time for quarantine before introduction into the rest of your tank? Typically, a 2-week period is going to be plenty to be able to figure out if they're showing any signs, any kind of ick, any kind of parasites, any kind of fungus, anything like that. 2-week period is generally, that's a good amount of time. Plus a 2-week period, you can run a cycle of medication if you feel like, you got, if they've been straight imported fish, they've been through a lot, chances are they could develop something like that, and you kind of want to get them into the meds so that you can, help acclimate them into a system. About a 2-week period is pretty good, to really see if anything's going on. And then if you do identify something going on, then you're going to have to hold on to, hold them in the quarantine before you add them to your display tank. That's going to be the best bet as far as like if you need to go through a quarantine. As you guys know, I've added certain fish like the guppies I got from Alyssa, or the guppy I got from Alyssa. It's like I know that they came from a healthy system. They basically drove, a half an hour and over, and they were just, they're ready to go, and they're from like the same water and stuff like that. So sometimes I don't quarantine. I get it. I know people have pointed it out to me, and it's like, yeah, there are some times I know that like some things are tank raised and stuff like that, or maybe I set up a tank and it's only getting those critters that I normally would put into a quarantine. But that's also kind of dangerous too, because you're going to end up medicating a bunch of stuff that you don't need to medicate, and you can have long-term problems with just like throwing medication into a display tank. Let's see. Swift Aquarium. A white cereal bowl is my favorite. No corners. Oh, yeah. That's a good point. I like that. Algae is zombie virus free. So that's good. It's good to hear you're on the up and up. I felt like I was going to die on Wednesday. Man, I don't know. If you guys watched Wednesday's show, it was like, I don't know, man. I was just like, thought I was going to die or something. I don't know. I just felt terrible. I didn't feel sick. I just felt terrible. I don't know. It's weird. Oh, the follow-up from Tizzle says, awesome, thanks. Yes, I got 3 new fish right out of the delivery bags at my local store this weekend. They are not liking the quarantine tank right now. Yeah, I know. But yeah, if you got stuff that just landed right out of the bag, then it's going to be quarantine time. It's going to be the best bet. You could really introduce something into the system. Look at it this way. It's like unprotected sex. You know what I mean? Like, you might be all right. You might be okay. And you're like, I'm fine. I'm cool. And the next thing you know, you got chlamydia. It's not good. You know what I'm saying? Stay safe. Stay safe out there. You know what I'm saying? It's just that little bit of prevention. Like $1 worth of prevention. What is that? An ounce of prevention is worth 5 pounds of cure? Is that how that goes? I forget how that saying goes. I'm not 100 years old. Speaking of being 100 years old, it's almost my birthday, but not quite. The Monday show will be the birthday show. So maybe we'll just be like, it's a celebration on Monday. And then people will be like, it's Monday. This sucks. And I'll be like, yeah, that's cool. Because it's Monday. I don't know what's going on with this post right here, but Ginger Graves' little avatar has disappeared. But this post is from Ginger Graves, so don't despair. I don't know why her avatar has disappeared, but, hopefully everything's okay. What happened to your avatar? It says, my miracle baby Cory. I have no idea how he survived. All the eggs I have seen were being eaten by snails or other fish. I had no time to pull eggs. It seems that nature found a way. Now, if you're saying that this is the baby Cory, maybe the miracle Cory is older now. Or maybe there's a baby in here and I just don't see it because it's so tiny. But this looks grown to me. Or maybe you're just like zoomed in on a macro scale and I think it looks grown. And I'm wrong. I don't know. I've been wrong before. This could be one of those times. Green Ranger says, "Hi Joel, what size of inline heater do you recommend for a 120-gallon long?" I don't recommend inline heaters. I really don't. I feel like the inline heaters are just so far behind as far as the technology goes. Like, I feel like they just don't work that reliably or all that well, so I don't necessarily recommend them. So I don't have like a good recommendation to be like, oh, this is the one that works good. Because my experience, the ones that I've experienced and had experience with, they did not work well. 54 Punchy says, so should I drop my new fish into little condoms and float them in the aquarium? That's not how that works. Although we do know that 54 Punchy is a little delirious from getting her gallbladder taken out. So it's okay if you're confused. Just take a second and relax. Ooh, calm your mind. And remember, condoms don't go in fish tanks, people. Mike Kinzis says, just saw you in the new coop video. Oh, I'm in it apparently. I was all like, why is Corey uploading while I'm live? But apparently I'm in the video, so I guess maybe it's not all bad, right? Was it me laying on the ground being really tired? That's what I would guess. Let's see here. Okay, moving on. Ginger, that is awesome. I love to hear. Oh, here we go. Here's the miracle baby Corey. Oh, maybe he's just little and yeah, okay, because that's a ram's horn. So this has to be a small Corey. Okay. The miracle baby Corey, I have no idea how he survived. All the eggs I've seen were being eaten by snails and other fish. No time. But nature found a way. Oh, it's the same quote. Okay. Okay, I get it. Some people giving some congrats. But yeah, now I'm realizing how small this Corey is. You actually are just zoomed in because that's like a little ram's horn right there. So yeah, that is a baby Corey. Majestic. I dig it. I think it's pretty cool. Let's see here. Our next post is from Big Dreams. It says, Joel successfully brainwashed me after watching all of his recent videos. Just ordered Pogostem installatus octopus and the nano driftwood twigs bag. Can't wait. Just realized I forgot the USB air bubbler. Yeah, get that little USB pump before little USB air pump before it like disappears, because there's only a certain amount, and then I don't know when he's gonna be able to get more in. So get those and the driftwood twigs. Apparently Corey cornered the market on getting the driftwood twigs. So the bag of twigs, the like aquascaping twigs bag, I would buy those as rapidly as you can. I got some myself. Full disclosure, they are a sponsored item, so I do have some bags out in the garage. So I got some myself. They are sponsored. There'll be a sponsored video for the hardscape coming out on some new projects that I'm working on. As I mentioned, I think I mentioned earlier, like on a Monday or something like that, we're going to be rescaping the whole 240. Anyhow, back to the post here from Big Dreams. Figured I'd share a photo of my lemon tetras about to tear into the Sarah Onip tabs as part of my first post. Well, I appreciate it. Not only do I appreciate Big Dreams coming over, but thank you very much for ordering from Aquarium Co-op. That's helps support me, man. You guys know that I work up there. I go up there and do work. So it's like maybe you're ethereally supporting me, or you went through the affiliate link, and that helps too. Helps pay the old mortgage, and hopefully it's going to be able to pay the rent on the Makerspace, because I was discussing with those guys today, and they do month-to-month leases there, so I could literally set it up. I think they said that the minimum is 90 days, so I might be able to set this thing up and then see what happens over a 90-day period. That might be a thing that I end up doing, because, you know, if I set it up and then it's like, man, this is dumb, like this is just not good, then Maybe I could just be like, all right, guys, I'm going to vacate. Never mind. Right? So, I don't know. I'm going to go check out some of the spaces. I was hoping to go check some of them out this afternoon, but I'm not sure if they're there or not there or whatever. I don't know. So, we shall see. We shall see. Choo, choo, choo. Choo, 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 choo. This thing's broken. Sad to say. The little thing inside here broke. Sad. My vape niche broke. Sucks. Anyhow, but big dreams. Thanks for supporting. And lemon tetras are dope. Someday I will have a big lemon tetra tank. I don't right now, and I'm sorry. It's either lemon tetras or Congo tetras. I think someday I'm gonna do a big Congo tetra tank because epic. I don't know if anybody has seen the video of that cylindrical tetra tank that from like Aquashella. I don't know if it's from Aquashella or from a store. I've got mixed reports, but it seems to me that like everybody that was at Aquashella shot video of it. So I'm assuming that it was in Aquashella and maybe like it's from a store and they moved it there temporarily. I don't know. But that cylindrical one, I think that would have been way cooler with like Congo tetras or something like that. I think that would have been cooler. Aquamate, what's going on? Hold on, let me check here. Anyone got any advice on how to convince my wifey to let me turn our dining room into a fish room? No, there is no advice for that. It's just not, don't do it. I would say, first of all, don't turn your dining room into a fish room. It's not a good idea. I highly recommend people to like work out a separate space for your fish room, like a garage, a separate building, a workspace, a workshop, like make a fancy shed, make a fish tank barn, like M. Howie 9, like Mike, the fish tank barn, do something like that. That is a much better long-term situation, not only personally, but it's also going to be better for the fish. It's going to be better for operating everything. Like it's just long-term. It's going to be a much better situation. So I don't recommend trying to convert your house into a fish room. Houses aren't even designed to be a fish room. So it's not a great idea. You got to think like, hyper humidity, high temperature with like drywall walls. Like it's just not, it's not going to work. Your house, if you think about it this way, the construction of your bathroom is completely different, from the construction of your living room, and one of the big reasons for that is all of the, is 100%. All of the humidity and high temperature and all that kind of stuff that is going on in your bathroom. And then if you suddenly just decide like, oh, I'm going to take showers in my living room, and then you wonder why like the walls get moldy and all screwed up and stuff like that. It's just not ready. It's just not ready for it. So, one of the things I recommend to people, I built my fish room inside my shop out back on the property here. And then, when we did all the drywall, everything's green board from bathrooms. So we built the fish room like a bathroom. It has exhaust fans in there and stuff, just like a bathroom. When you go in to take a shower, you turn on the fan. It has those built in and stuff like that. All of the electrical is, it's built as if it's going to be a wet area, So there's just a lot of stuff that goes into it. And and your dining room should be for dining room stuff or something. Or, I don't know, build something nice for your wife in the dining room, or your husband, or your husband-wife, or I don't know, maybe, I don't know what kind of situation everyone out there in the world is in. Maybe you got a husband and a wife. Maybe you're like Freddie Mercury. I don't know. And, so he had a husband and a wife, right? That's heroic. Anyhow, so just I don't recommend to try and convince anybody to like, build out a living room as a fish room or something like that. It's not great. Tizzle says, so you're saying I should turn the bathroom into my fish room? Yeah, I mean, if you have like a spare bathroom or maybe like a laundry room or something like that you want to convert, do that. But the dining room and living room is just not ready to handle it. You know, you'd have to end up tearing out a lot of stuff and doing a lot of things that are not beneficial to just the day-to-day kind of stuff. Oh, we got a $20 super chat from Randall Bowman. Well, thank you, Randall. Much appreciate it. Thanks for tipping in the old tip jar. If you have a question or something, put at Corvus Oscen on there, and then I'll notice it pop up. Let's see. JS says that's simply beta way it worked for her. Yeah, that's right. She has the bathroom fish room. Yeah, that's a great way to do it. Bob S says ask LR Brett's about his dining room. LR Brett's house is just jam packed with all sorts of tanks. It's crazy. I don't know. Last time he was here at my house, we were talking about his place, and I am not envious of that at all. Like, it just feels like a cluster of nonsense. You know, I think Oddball posted a video a little while ago how they were like moving some lights around or something, and they were like drilling lights into the drywall downstairs, and you're kind of like, does anybody realize that they're like drilling into the drywall with like 100 fish tanks in the room? Like, that's gonna fall out of there in not a long time, but you know, it is what it is. So I don't know. I assume they're getting along and it's working pretty well. And his wife hasn't run off yet, so maybe it's working out. I don't know, but if I had that situation in my house, Vicky would burn this place down and leave, or maybe not burn it down, but you know what I'm saying. It would not work out. But Grassy Peak also sent this in. Grassy Peak checking in with some Pseudomogil cyanodorsalis. I always forget how to say that. Cyanodorsalis, right? Is that right? I don't know. Pseudomogils. My apologies for the bad shot. These guys are in my classroom with only a dim light above them. For me, photographing them is really difficult. They never sit still. And that's right. Pseudomogills, like, always shaking and mating and getting ready and, like, doing their thing. They are impossible to get good shots of. You need a really, really fast lens to be able to grab some good shots of them. And yeah, you gotta spray and pray when you're shooting like fish like this. Like, you just have to shoot 1,000 shots and hope that a couple of them are in focus. But it's a nightmare, you know. Like, some fish are just crazy hard to get good pictures of. Some are super easy. Like, if you wanna look like you're really good at taking pictures of fish, take pictures of rainbow fish. Take pictures of rainbow fish, and it will look like you know how to take pictures. If I was to give somebody a recommendation, go that route, and then people would be like, man, you really know what you're doing. And be like, nope, I don't even know which end's the pointy end of this camera. Or you could go out and get yourself a fancy lens like this, 100 millimeter Canon L lens, which costs way too much money and makes me stressed out. But you know how it is. Anyhow, back to the post here. It says it's just too fast. Essentially, two males will flare and rapidly circle each other with their dorsal and anal fins pointing straight up and down. It's quite the show. It's true. It is quite the show. This could be a good opportunity for a little video. You could have shot some video of this, and then we could have had those damn fancy moving pictures. Yeah. You know, and then we would have all been like, oh, it's like that old-timey time with the fancy moving pictures and the picture light show. And then we'd all be like, oh, my God. I'm freaking out. Anyway, these guys in Saber Dance are going to be the subject of my next painting. Wish me luck. Cheers, Chris. Man, that's awesome. Chris always talks about being in the classroom, teaching kids, or maybe you're teaching adults. I don't know. I'm always kind of confused. Like, people that follow the channel and stuff, I get confused, and then I forget. And I don't want to end up sounding like a dingleberry. But I'm pretty sure Grassy Peak is a school teacher and doing well enough to actually be on Patreon. How's that? How's that for some action? That's pretty cool, I think. We got a post here from Johan, who regularly sends us in our fish of the week. But we also got a post here from Johan getting a brand new aquarium in. It arrived finally, and it sold some small ones for that 6-footer. Time for some scape. I don't know. It looks like it's scape to me. It looks all jam-packed with life already. Oh. Johan's like me. He's got a little peanut back home. Oh, I should, I wonder if I have my little, I wonder if I have Olivia. No. I wonder, I think I have to change scenes to do that. Yeah, I think I do. Yeah, I'd have to go over here. Yeah, sorry, guys. I was going to pop up a picture of the old peanut baby Olivia, but I can't do that right now. So I'd have to screw up the whole show to do it. Sorry. Sorry, guys. But, Johan, congratulations on a big tank. It looks like somebody was running this with canisters and did some cutouts on the old rim shot there, but don't... I don't recommend people to do that. It's not a great idea. I've seen so many people crack their tank trying to do that. So heads up if you're somebody that's going to give this a try. Just don't. Cut into the hood. If you have a hood, cut the hood so the hood covers up those hoses, and then you'll be right in there. Dominique Nadeau says, guys, I did a bad thing. Remember last week I asked for tips to changing my regulator and my CO2 tank for the 29 to the new 40. Well, look what came in the mail this morning. Someone must have bought it with my credit card and my address. Of course, I would never do that. Yeah, you guys, I would 100% recommend swing over to the co-op and scoop up a CO2 regulator from CO2 Art. They're in limited supply. So I'm recommending you guys to get over there and get one if you can, while you still can. There's some kind of, I don't know, limited supply for whatever reason. I'm not even 100% sure why, but I was told there's a limited supply, and that's just what it's going to be. So, you know, and so that's just kind of reality, you guys. So. But I'm glad to see that Dominic Nadeau got one before they runned out. So, man, props. I'm happy with mine. I'm really happy with mine. So, you know, can recommend. Probably 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. Maybe 8 out of 10. Maybe 8.5 out of 10. Maybe 9. You know. Tech Turtle says MKBHD. MKB HD just put out a video with all kinds of cool camera equipment. He's not a fish tuber. Tech Turtle, you are right. MKB is awesome. Marquise Brownlee I love his work. He does really cool stuff, and he does really cool stuff like while staying in the YouTube zone. You know what I mean? He really is one of those guys that can get really high tech and do a lot of good work with, you know, some really high-tech stuff, but he still kind of stays right in the, like, I'm on YouTube thing. So it seems to work out pretty well. Like, watching his videos and stuff like that. Really, I very much enjoy watching them and stuff like that, but almost everything that he reviews, I'm like, there's no way I could afford it. You know what I mean? It's like a Red camera is $75,000. This lens I have right here is like $900, and it took me months to save up to get that. You know, so I have no idea how I'd ever be able to buy a $7,000 or $75,000 camera. Let's see, HDC 86 or HDJC 86. Do you have any experience with the Elite model running multiple tanks? Yes, I do. And yeah, each tank needs one of these little guys right here. Each tank doesn't need its own solenoid. It needs its own bubble counter deal, right? So you can actually set each one. Then the CO2 tube comes out up at the top here. You know, this crimps down on there, and then it has some set screws that go in Works way better than my 6-way splitter. Way better than my 6-way splitter, because the 6-way splitter, I have to mess with it all the time because each of the outputs like is dropping. It's it drops pressure here, which means it sends more pressure over there, and it's kind of a mess. It's just a little bit weird. Shelby Ray, severe thunderstorms, 60-mile-per-hour wind, hail, lines down, and internet going in and out. What is going on? I thought it was supposed to be spring. I mean, it's pretty nice here. Like, the weather's pretty nice today, but like I said, it was raining and windy and this and that. But it was definitely, like, better than that. Bentley says Marquise Brownlee has, like, 100K in gear. No, he doesn't. He has, like... I would not be shocked to find out if he has $1 million in gear. He has like multiple red cameras that he shoots with, and I think he has like the Red Dragon and some other stuff. Like, he's doing great. He's doing really well for himself. I think last time I, saw his sub count and his like views and all that kind of, it's through the roof. I mean, it's insane. I mean, he was on Joe Rogan. Like, Joe Rogan had him on Joe Rogan just because he was like, hey, man, I just want to ask you about a cell phone or something. It's like Joe Rogan wanted to interview him just to see, like, well, oh, man, this guy's, like, got it going on, So, 54 Punchy says, spring, it's been snowing for the last 3 days. Yeah, I know. There's, like, the middle of the country here has been in full, like, winter mode in the middle. Everybody in the middle has been in winter mode. I'm sorry to hear it, but... that's rough. Let's see. So our next post is from Grassy Peak. We got, oh no, came into the classroom this morning and found my clowns guarding their first clutch of eggs. And it says, I have a lot of work ahead of me. Rotifiers on order. The clutch is the patch of dark spots immediately behind the cutout in the flower pot. Yeah, you can see right back here. Got some clownfish eggs. This is a saltwater fish, if you guys are confused. The clutch is the patch of dark spots immediately behind the cutout in the flower pot. I also put up a small video on my YouTube channel. So, yeah, here's also something I wanted to remind people that, like, if you're somebody who's starting out in YouTube, you could be, like, on my Patreon, basically, for, I forget what the minimum is. The minimum's $1 a month. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you could be somebody who's like starting out your YouTube, and you could post a YouTube post of like, of something that you have to put a post together that's nice, like this. Like, this is a perfect example. Like, it's a nice post here. You got a picture. It's an actual post that's like, hey, this is what's going on. Oh, here's my YouTube video if you want to check it out. And I'm happy to like help promote you guys, help promote some channels and stuff like that. I see lots of channels in the chat from time to time that I am happy to promote, but the live chat and comments on YouTube and stuff is not the place to promote your channel. But Patreon is a great place to promote your channel and stuff like that. So if you're somebody who's starting out and you need some help and you want to get some, reviews on what you're putting out there, and you want to get some people's inputs and stuff like that, there's a perfect opportunity right there. Last time I checked, there's 284 people on my Patreon page, which isn't like 1 million or anything crazy like that. I get it. But you're talking about close to 300 people on Patreon that are all fish people, that there's no ads or anything crazy going on. It's not like when you go on to face page and face page is all crazy and it's nonsense, So it's a good spot. So feel free to go out and check out Grassy Peak's page and see what's going on. In regards to this specific post with the clownfish, I will say, don't worry about trying to do anything for these eggs. Like, if you're not ready and you get clownfish eggs, they're gone. They're toast. They are not going to make it. So if you're not ready, don't stress out that much. And you want to get ready for the future eggs anyhow, because if this is the first time they've ever dropped eggs, they're probably not going to do anything if it's the first time they've dropped the eggs. And if you're not ready to remove them and get ready to hatch them and stuff like that, then I wouldn't stress out that much about it. I would just get ready for the next spawn. That's the best advice I can give you. There might be better advice out there, but that's the best advice I can give you. Megan Ness says to hit the like button. That's right, guys. You got to hit the like button. Maybe because my birthday's coming up. I don't know. On Monday show. Maybe we could get more likes on this show than the birthday show. Chad Kratz with this post right here, which I'm super jealous of. He says, just got back from much-needed vacation. First, the good. We visited the Georgia Sea Turtle Center while staying on Jekyll Island. It was a great place to introduce our 11-year-old to conservation, preservation of marine habitats. What I was super curious about with the staff we spoke to couldn't answer was the filtration. Attached is a picture I took with our first DSLR. It was an early birthday present from to my wife from me. LOLs, which normally equates to ha 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 ha, whilst I'm laughing out loud. Yeah. So this honestly is one of those problems when I've gone to some conservatories and aquariums and stuff like that. It just seems like there are not very many people that are really engaged at them that know that much about how the filtration is working. Like, they know it's set up, they know that it does a thing, they know that water goes around and stuff like that, and then you're like, what happened here? What's going on? What are you guys doing? What's the deal? And they're like, I don't know, water goes in there. You're like, okay, that's weird, right? And then you'll find somebody who's like super knowledgeable about what's going on. It's like, oh, this is the person that maintains it and set it up. I hope you don't die, because it seems like nobody else knows what's going on around here. Which is weird. I don't get it. But I always just thought it was an effect of, some people are just workers, you know what I mean? They're like minimum wage workers. They're just there like trying to help out and do what they can. And then there's like one person who's, certified or whatever. What is the heaviest, from Bob, what is the heaviest weight on an adjustable wall rack can support? The ones with the slots for the supports, is there one that can support 400 pounds? There are some heavy duty ones out there, but they're all different. So I can't really tell you what would be good for which one. Cheshire Cat's going to have to go. Keep losing the stream because of shoddy connection on the bus, and my battery is draining fast. Oh, man. You should have got home on time. And then it would be much easier. It'd be much easier to follow the show if you're at home. And Chad Kratz posted the follow-up post, which is onto the not-so-cool part about vacation. Been battling algae in the first planted tank for about 3 months. Water change before vacation. I had the algae manageable. Upon returning is an unmitigated disaster. I've read a 3-day blackout could be beneficial, and this is something I should try. Any other input would be much appreciated. Well, my first question here, is there a timer on here? Oh, and Grassy Peak was actually asking how long is the photo period. Would not do more than 6 hours. Are you fertilizing? If not fertilizing, according to how much light you have will help the plants to compete. Is the tank in a room that receives a lot of sunlight? It's a big problem for Grassy Peak's tank because of the natural daylight. Long photo periods favor algal photosynthesis. Yeah, that's actually great advice from Grassy Peak, and pretty much a lot of the same questions that I would be asking in regards to this. But it is looking like you just straight up got a decent amount of algae growing, and it looks typical to me like you probably have a hard water situation going on. You need to work some water changes, need to lessen the light for sure, and or adjust your fertilizer. Or if you're not adding any fertilizer or anything like that, you definitely need to make sure that you are managing the amount of light going in relation to the amount of fertilizer that's going in. So think of it this way. If you're adding more and more and more fertilizer, you're going to need more and more intense photo periods with a lot more CO2 so that you can, so your plants can really uptake the fertilizer that's in the water. It really is something that, you know, you're just going to have to start finding a balance. But as far as lighting goes, I always recommend people, like, if you get a Fluval 3.0 light like I have, it's super easy to turn it down to like 50%, you know, when you add that thing on. Or, like, let's say you did go on vacation, you could turn the thing all the way down to like it only comes on to 15% while you're gone. So it's enough light to just like cast a little bit of light in there, but things don't go totally crazy while you're out and about, just trying to have a good time hanging out with some turtles, you know, doing your turtle jams at the old conservatory. I want to say conservatory. I don't know what the hell. But, you know, while you're out there, you know, you could use like a Fluval 3.0 to turn the intensity way down so that when you get back, you're like, oh, everything's working. Everything's working. And not have that huge algae bloom. But, you know, keep up the work. You know, dial back your photo period, figure out your fertilizers, dial back your fertilizers, bring your fertilizers up. You know, you're going to have to start to figure out a balance. But you do have some water sprite and a couple other things in there that are really start to catch on once they start going and generally outcompete a lot of that. Mike Howie from the Fish Tank Barn. Perfect example right here. He's got a YouTube link so you guys can check out his newest video of what's going on here. He has the Fish Tank Barn, and he says he's rearranging the fish barn. I have a new project I'm working on. In the Fish Tank Barn, I'm rearranging the barn to open up more space in the downstairs of the barn. The pictures attached are the beginnings of the first stand. We'll post updates here and on the YouTube channel as I progress. See, it's a perfect example. It's a great cross-promotion platform, and mhowie9, you know, is incrementally making that leap into the YouTube stuff, like documenting things, and he just keeps getting better every week. Perfect example. You know, the last video I watched from him, it was like really starting to make sense, really starting to tell a story. You know, the picture was a lot better, and you know, it's just all that stuff. Like, you just make these little incremental improvements and stuff like that. He's also handy enough to be building his own stuff and everything. I definitely appreciate it, and I can't wait till I hope he's coming out for the AGA. I'm not sure. I'm hoping he's going to come out for the AGA, and maybe we can make some goofy videos or something while he's out here. But yeah, you can tune in for that and check that out on his channel on YouTube and see what's happening. Andrew Crankshaw sends this in. This is a 10-gallon box with random plants I propagated. You know the gig. I recently purchased 10 fire red shrimp from the LR Bretts. Well, there you go. Speaking of Lucas, there you go. He's popped up twice today in the chat on the show. The tank is well seasoned with a high pH of 8.0 out of the tap. I want to keep it stable and consistent. My previous attempt with cherries failed. It was an operator error. There are 2 baby guppies in with them. How frequent would you do water changes, and how much water would you change? I plan to have almond leaf in there at times for food source and the shrimp. P.S. Don't mind the diatoms on the glass. As always, any tips or advice greatly appreciated. A little bit of diatoms on the glass normally is an indicator that there might be something going on with your cycle. Like, this tank might not be fully cycled. I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just saying it might not be. I only see a little bit of mature growth at all going on here. So, you know, got to watch out for that. But, you know, diatoms can happen in a cycled aquarium also. But as far as water changes go, if I have cherry shrimp in here, I would just be basically doing a 10% water change like once a week. You know, a 10-gallon tank like this, that's just a 1-gallon water change. You know, and make up for evaporation. So you're going to have to make sure that you pull out enough to make up for the evaporation. That's typically what's going to compound and cause a problem, especially in a smaller tank like this. So, you know, I consider a 10-gallon tank a nano tank, although it's not the footprint that you would normally see for a nano tank. But a 10-gallon tank, you know, you're going to have evaporation and things like that. So, for sure, do water changes. Make sure you make up against the evaporation, and you'll be fine. Like, you really don't need to do too much more than that, especially with cherry shrimp. Millie Gandalf with a $10 super chat saying, love the content, keep it up. Well, thank you. I really do appreciate it. Big D Smoke with a $10 super chat for the Makerspace Fund. Oh, man, props. Thanks, brother. Big D Smoke's always supporting the show and everything, and I appreciate it. And, you know, he's local out here, so maybe he'll be able to actually come to it. That's one of the big benefits of trying to do this Makerspace with aquarium stuff and everything like that. Like, I want a space that fans can come to, you know? I want a space that fans can come to. They could have some tutorials. They could check out things in person, that kind of stuff. Also, if people come to town, I don't need a whole ton of people like coming to town. Like, you know, I do realize that the AGA is coming up, and, you know, let's say 20 people from the whole AGA convention want to come to my house. They desperately want to come to my house to see my projects and stuff like that. I can't host that. I can't have a bunch of people tromping around coming to my house. You know, I have a new baby here, so I can't just be like having tons of people come over. Like, we literally have to ask people if they have their measles shots and stuff like that. Like, do you have your shots? Are you vaccinated? No? Don't come to my house. You know what I mean? So, and I don't want to have to like interview all these people and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, my house is my house, you know, it's like, it's where I want to be at. So, that's kind of the idea for the Makerspace. Like, I feel like it'd be a lot of benefit for a lot of, you know, especially the people that like follow this channel, follow other channels, so like want to learn more stuff and do all that kind of stuff. YAA Crazy says run workshops on the weekends so we can fly out. That's a perfect example. Like maybe we'll do the hot dog cookout, and we'll cook some vegan ones too, you know, just in case we got some vegan friends coming out. You know, but like maybe we'll do a hot dog cookout or a barbecue or something like that, where we could have people come by on the weekend, like, hey, noon to 3, come on down and you can come check it out or something like that, you know, and just have some fun. You know, I was talking to Corey last night, and we were literally talking like, whoa, we could actually go old school and throw a pizza party. And I was like, yes, we could throw a pizza party. We could throw a pizza party. You know what I'm saying? We could just order up some cheap pizzas and have like a pizza party, and, you know, just have some people come out. You know, so that's really the deal. And, you know, for people that can't travel and all that kind of stuff, it just means more filming, more, you know, more shows and stuff like that would be able to come up on YouTube, which, you know, if I'm going to a bunch of conventions and stuff like that, like, there isn't opportunity really for me to film anything that's not already being filmed by like 5 people that are all better at making videos than I am anyhow, you know. So, you know what I mean? So why would I spend that money over there if we can, you know, throw some money in the tip jar and then just be like, all right, it'll be a public space and we could maybe have a pizza party. I'm a big fan of pizza parties. You know what I mean? Terry's Tropical Tanks is enraged by vegan hot dogs. It says, please tell me this isn't a thing. Yes, there are all sorts of things. There are different people that don't eat meat, people that do eat meat, people that don't eat pork, people that do eat pork. You know what I mean? There's all different strokes that run the world, and it's not a bad thing. There's just other people. You know what I mean? They're just other people doing other things, and it's okay. And yes, there are vegan hot dogs, which I would almost argue that the vegan hot dog is the one meat substitute that it tastes exactly like hot dogs, which makes me wonder if all hot dogs are vegan or not. You know what I mean? It's kind of entertaining. Let's be honest. It's like, are all these hot dogs vegan? Because these vegan ones taste exactly like hot dogs. Preston John. If you guys don't know who Preston John is, he's melting in Arizona. He has Instagram. He has a YouTube. Or no, I don't know if he has a YouTube. I don't think he has a YouTube. But he has an Instagram, and he is the puffer guy. That's where I got my Shouted Eye puffers. The Spotted Congo puffer. You know, it's where I got him from. That's the dude. Awesome guy. Actually, if you're looking for him, he actually has them posted up. I can never remember the name of the website, but there's a website that you can go order them from, and they handle all the shipping and everything like that for him, because he's a busy guy. He doesn't have time for shipping, but those guys handle it super pro. You know what I mean? Megan Ness says, are you going to Aquatic Experience this year? I'm not planning on it. I was planning on going to the Aquatic Experience, but I'm honestly not planning on it at this point. I'm really not. I was going to, I was going to go, and that was kind of the plan. But, I don't know if anybody was at the Aquatic Experience last year because there wasn't that many, and I went, and to be brutally honest, it's like a monumental waste of time, with a lot of, and the reason I say it's a waste of time, it's not the fans. Meeting the fans is awesome. Like, I love it. I love having an opportunity to meet the fans. But when I say that it's like a waste of time, it's like I go hang out with a bunch of YouTubers and we can't film anything. I go see a bunch of tanks. I spend a lot of money. It would be like, I guess let me put it this way. Like, if I had let's say that I had a 1984 Honda Accord, right? For sale, and I was like, this is a car. This car drives around. This car does stuff, right? And you're like, okay, it does what it says it's going to do. Like, it drives around. It's got 4 wheels on it. It's got a steering wheel. It's got a motor. It drives around. And then they were like, yeah, okay, I'm interested in buying this car. How much is it? And I was like, $5,000. And they were like, what? They'd be like, oh, this is probably worth like $500. And the reality is that, like, I spend a lot and there's very little return for a lot of the people that follow on YouTube. If I go out, like, it's a big thing to go meet people, and I love it. But, like, going to the conventions, like, I have 5 seconds. I had like 5 seconds to talk to. Crap. Oh, the name escaped my mind. It just slipped right out of my brain. Hold on. Let me think here. Hold on. Forgetting is no good. I have to literally go over here and find out. I'm going to have to scroll like way down though. We have to scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and... Here we go. Ira, I spent like, I got like maybe a minute to talk to Ira and his wife, while I was out there. And, that's not a great return when it costs a couple $1,000s of production money to go out and then only get to talk to Ira for like a minute, 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. Like, I probably could have gone out there the week after Aquatic Experience and just hung out with Ira. And I forget his wife's name now. I feel like a douche for having forgot. Mr. Sunmaid. There we go. We'll call him Mr. Sunmaid. That's easier. But to hang out with them, and I was only out there for like, I could have gone out like the next weekend and just hung out with Ira and his wife for the whole weekend. You know what I mean? Like, just gone to their house and like filmed some of their fish tanks. And, I could have just like seen some of their fish tanks, drove around, got to see Jersey. It's kind of one of those things. Like, I could have gone like the following weekend and just hung out with them. I could have hung out with like people from New Jersey for like the weekend and just done that. But they I only got to hang out with them for like maybe 5 minutes, and then it was like, oh, we got to go over here now. Oh, we got to go over there, and it's a lot of money when you think about it. If it's like, because I think I figured it out. It was like all together, I think it was like $2,200 to go to the aquatic experience last year, and the aquatic experience doesn't sponsor any of that stuff. Fluval doesn't sponsor any of that stuff. I don't have a single sponsor that's paying for any of that stuff other than Patreon. And like, you guys can go over to Patreon and see how much money's there. It's like 2 months worth of Patreon funding to be able to go to the aquatic experience for like a weekend. It just doesn't seem like a good use of the money at this point. People have generously been sponsoring this show and stuff, and I'm like, what do I come back with? Like a video of a convention. Which, I'll be brutally honest with you guys, like who all was at that convention, that could have filmed it or did film it better than I did. Primetime Aquatics was there. Simply Beta was there. Jimmy and Cory from Aquarium Co-op were there. Zenzo from Tazawa Tanks was there. Twin City Guppies was there. There's tons of people there that would have done a better job filming that thing than I did, right? So you guys would have been able to get the experience from that. So that's why I've kind of shifted gears and just going like, all right, if realistically, like, me spending all that money going to a convention is kind of a waste of money, then what should I do instead? And it's like, oh, I should make a space where we could like actually just make more stuff and make cooler things and engage with people in a better way. I'm building a studio in my basement right now so that I can do better shows, better versions of this show, so I can have guests come over on a regular basis. And then it's like, oh, if I don't have guests, guess what? I could go to the Makerspace and shoot a better video at the Makerspace, for a show. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Let me catch up with the chat. I probably got all controversial there. Ginger Graves with a $5 super chat says, misspelled Makerspace. My retired teacher mom would not be impressed. Hangs head, embarrassed. I bet your mom is impressed. I bet you that she is. We don't need to beat ourselves up for misspelling. It happens sometimes, Let's see. Here we go. But her original $10 super chat. Wow, that is super generous. Honestly, Makerspace Fund, I would fly out for a workshop weekend. There you go. So, Ginger Graves, that's a perfect example right there. It's like, let's say I would have like a workshop weekend where like 10 people come out, and it's like, I'm not going to charge for the damn thing or anything like that. It's like, you have to sign a waiver because I'm going to film you. But other than that, it's like, why don't we just do some workshop stuff where we have people come out and, maybe the only cost is, or, maybe the cost is like, you guys buy some hardscape or something and then you just get to keep it. We get to mess around with it, or I don't know. I don't know. That is undecided. Like, I don't know at this point. I don't know how that's actually going to work out. And everybody's concerned about, a lot of people are concerned about whether or not it's going to make money. Now, the thing is, it's going to cost money. That's fine. I literally look at it like the YouTube channel, Patreon, all that kind of stuff. If it can all chip in to do this project, that's where it's going. Like, that's where the money's going. It's like, there are times when it's like, oh, I need a new camera and I've got to save and I got to work extra weekends and nights and all that kind of stuff and get a new camera or I need a new lens or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, that stuff happens. And this computer blew up and I had to build a new one all frantically. But that kind of stuff happens. But that's why I work those weekends. That's why I work those extra shifts. That's why I do all that stuff. You know what I mean? So, like if it's something that we could do, if it's something that we could do, I would rather do something than just be like, oh yeah, I flew down to Los Angeles and hung out. I got to see people for 30 seconds. You know what I mean? So, yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm 100% wrong and the whole thing is just a bad idea. But I'm going to do my best to like make it fit in the budget and make it work and see if we can't get the thing going. Like after the show here, I'm probably going to head out to go look at a space real quick because the space I'm going to go look at has 24-hour access, so there should be somebody out there to be able to go check it out and talk with them and, kick the tires and see what they got. But I literally have to go there because I've talked to them on the phone and stuff, but I literally have to go and like tour some of the spaces and see what they have because he had like 3 different spaces open available at this time, and I'd like to go look at those and see what else I can see, But Ricardo Santiago, a $20 super chat, says, I love your show and just wanted to send this. We are very similar as far as fish keeping, doing construction work, and doing the rehab thing, fighting addiction. Much love. I don't know, what's that? KCMO. Meds plus ferts plus CO2 good or just meds alone? Let's see. Meds plus ferts plus CO2 good or just meds alone? Now I'm wondering. I don't know. What is that? Meds plus ferts plus CO2. Now, I would keep meds out. If the question is like you have, maybe you have a tank with something and you need to add some medication to it, I would almost always medicate in a separate tank if possible. And the reason for that is you never really know what could react with what's in your tank from a medication. So like maybe you have a fertilizer in there and you add a medication and, maybe there's 2 chemicals that could cause something weird to happen, but so that's kind of what I would watch out for in that case. But if you have to dose the whole tank, I would do a big water change beforehand to just kind of flush the system a little bit. And you could leave the CO2 on. I wouldn't worry too much about the CO2. I would leave that on. I wouldn't worry about taking that off. It shouldn't interact with anything that you add in there. John Gonzalez with a $5 super chat says, Aquatic Dojo, yoga classes when you're not using space. No, we don't want a bunch of yoga people sweating it up in there, getting all weird. KCMO. I'm confused what KCMO is. What is that supposed to be? Kansas City, Missouri. Oh, damn. I need to go back to Kansas City, Missouri. I was there like 3 years ago. Went out there for a charity mud run, which... if you guys have ever done a mud run, it's like a Spartan race. You have to like climb walls, jump over fences, jump off a cliff, swim through the mud, run, carry sacks full of sand and do all that kind of stuff. It was for charity. It was for a friend of ours, for the veterans. It was for the Disabled Veterans Fund. So it was a big fundraiser. It was a lot of fun. I think that the whole thing was like 9 miles of like mud and obstacles and climbing ropes up so you could ring a bell and stuff. They said it was a total of 100 obstacles. Now, I didn't count all of them, but it probably was 100 obstacles. And you got a wristband, which is funny. You got a wristband on you at the very start that was like made out of some kind of like heavy plastic or whatever. So it was kind of indestructible. And then they would cut it off of you. So everybody had these like thick shears at most of the obstacles. I know some of them were just like, but any of the air quote difficult obstacles, they would, there was somebody there watching to make sure that everybody could actually do the obstacle. And if you didn't make it through the obstacle, you could skip the obstacle. Like they didn't want you to like hurt yourself. You could just go around it if you needed to. But if you went around it, they would cut that wristband off. Now, as the whole time I went through that thing, I was like, oh, hell no. I'm not letting these guys cut this wristband off of me. That's not going to happen. I'll climb up all those ropes. I'll do, that guy told me to do 38 burpees. What is this? All right, fine. I'm going to keep this wristband on me, which I did. I got all the way till the end. And by the way, you guys, if you don't know, I'm a sober guy. I'm a sober guy that goes to meetings and stuff like that, which, by the way, you can do it too if you feel like you need to. If you don't feel like you need to, don't worry about it. Or if somebody else is telling you need to, maybe you should. I don't know. But I'm a sober guy. I'm coming up on 5 years sober. Hopefully I get there, and don't die or whatever. But I got to the end, and I got my wristband on, and I want to get my reward. Because there's going to be a big reward at the end. And I didn't skip any of those stupid obstacles. And you know what the reward was at the end? No, it wasn't a free t-shirt. No, it wasn't an extra big trophy or anything cool like that. No, it wasn't a refund on entrance fees, which I would have given back because it was just for charity. So, but it was like $100 or something. Anyhow, no, the reward, you guys, the reward was a pitcher of beer, which was ridiculous. Ridiculous. Because what is a sober guy going to do with a pitcher of beer? And some people would say, oh, did you give your wristband to somebody so that they could get their free pitcher of beer? And I'll tell you this. At the time, I was none too enthusiastic with the prize being a pitcher of beer. So, no, I have to admit, I was a dick, and I did not give my wristband to somebody else who could have a free pitcher of beer. And I apologize for my terrible behavior at the time, but I was a little bit pissed, and I was like, no, I'm just going to keep my wristband, and I'm going to take it. I don't know. I think I brought it home. I think I brought it home with me. I should have just, realistically, I should have just been cool about it and given it to somebody who was not an alcoholic and just let them have a beer, But I was feeling a little pissy at the time because it took us a long time to get through that course. And I was really tired, and I wanted my reward, and I was thinking like, man, maybe it's like an ice cream, bros. Like maybe it's going to be ice cream, and if anybody knows me, I am insane for ice cream. So I was like, it's probably something cool like an ice cream, or maybe it's ice cream, or maybe like they have ice cream and that's a thing that they do. Nope. That wasn't a thing that they did. I even asked them because they had like chili dogs or something like that. I was literally like, could I get like a chili dog or something? And they were like, no. Yeah, and I was just like, all right, man. But I did get the free t-shirt and a medal. They give you like a really cool, like a medal made out of metal. A medal made of metal. Metal. That word's getting weird. If you say it a lot, it starts to get weirder. Oh, back to the Patreon page here. We got Preston John sent this in. Said, culling time. I removed the mail on the right and kept the left mail. What would you have done? I think I would have done the same. The mail on the right is no. The one on the left is yes. I would have kept much nicer looking on the left there for sure. Sunwise sent this in. Sunwise is pretty much brand new to the Patreon. Only been over there a couple of days. It says, got me some easy green now to let the plants grow in. Legit. If you get easy green and you get a good light, which it looks like to me, like you do have a pretty decent light on there, you will be fine and dandy like sour candy. I see some Pinnatifida if I look close over here. Congratulations. I'm glad you got a really good fertilizer. It's going to help you out, and it's going to work well. Whoops. What's going on here? There. We got a post here from Dominique Nadeau from earlier today. Ooh, that's so fresh and so clean. With this as the final end product, so proud of myself. Next step is going to acquire more plants at my club auction next weekend, which I do remind you guys that where's the best place to get plants and stuff like that? Locals. Locals is the best place. If that's not possible, go to Aquarium Co-op. See how that works? You want to go local. You want to go local. You want to go local. Find somebody local, and you're going to be able to do it. Anyhow, so back to what Dominic Nadeau was saying. I was leaning towards a pisto, but there's literally no hobbyists that breed those near me. Even if we live in a very soft water area, I'll need to go shop hunting. Ooh. Not a bad idea. I think, you know, a pistos would probably go pretty well in this tank. I like this tank. Continuing on. 1 year ago, I was not able to drill a single hole straight. Since joining this hobby, the construction part of it gave me a lot of new skills. I'm now looking for a woodworking setup in my apartment. My dad is so happy that I'm starting some manual hobby that he gave me an old jigsaw, a circular saw, miter saw, and a table saw. The perk of having a father who likes to have multiple tools, I guess. That's badass, I have to admit. And this is pretty much a perfect summarization of, like, one of the big reasons I really love this hobby. I've been working on a video for a long time of, like, why I got into this hobby, and it's turned into just, I don't even know what the video is going to be like. I don't know. I should just put it out and see if people hate it. They'd be all hitting the dislike. Like, this guy's dumb. He's the worst. No, that's me I'm talking about, not anybody else. So just relax, guys. Johan sent this in because it's our fish of the week. It's the Tetraodon Mabu puffer, the giant freshwater puffer fish. He's doing very well, getting used to his new aquarium, a tank to grow out. I give him different types of food, like snails, clams, mussels, shrimps, and shrimp crap. That's what it says right there. Like Murphy, he doesn't stop eating. Mine has a good personality, as has with a few other fish like the bala shark, flagtail, and soon the freshwater archerfish. When you feed him, it's like a little puppy, very excited. I can't wait to build a very big aquarium for him, which is great. You know, I have to admit, you know, I see Murphy on a regular basis. I see Ladybird on a regular basis. I see them quite often, and you know, they are a really cool puffer. You guys know I got my little puffers, and they're quite nice also. And but the Mabus are quite large. Sorry, I had to pull out my phone here because the somebody was dropping something off on the front porch and rang the door alarm. And the cameras are alerting me that there's an alert. It's the UPS man. I see him there in his brown shorts. What did he drop off? Is it little? Oh, it's a little tiny package. It's a little package. Maybe it's jewelry. Oh, maybe it's jewels. Maybe it's jewels. All right. But yeah, I hang out with Cory's Mabu puffers. I have to admit, they're really cool, but be forewarned, you guys. Like he says here in this post, they never stop eating. They are relentlessly eating all of the time. They won't stop eating, and everything they eat is expensive. So keep that in mind. Maybe go with something like the little Congo puffers like I got, because they're much easier to handle, much easier to feed, and much easier to keep the water clean and stuff. Much easier to handle. And they're really cool too. They're a little bit different, but they're really cool too. Johan, with our final post of the day, says, for now, the scape in the new aquarium, 6 feet by 2 feet, 160 gallon. More plants are coming. Can Joel recommend a mother plant for a tank with no CO2? Any Amazon sword other than like the little rose swords and rosette swords and stuff like that. Maybe Madagascar lace. I would say Madagascar lace plant would grow huge in here. It doesn't need CO2. As long as you got a little bit of light, it will grow buck wild in this tank and grow huge. And to those of you out there that are wondering, I love Madagascar lace. It is a super cool plant, and I love it when it's huge. I love it when it's huge. So 160-gallon tank like this is a great opportunity for you to do that, and props. I hope you do. Let's see. I'm going to switch over here to scene 4 so that I can copy this little picture before I forget, where is it? I gotta find it here. But my brains. Oh, there it is. Copy. Let's go back over here to scene 1, and then we'll go paste as a new source. There we go. Now I can have my little baby here with me. Baby Olivia coming to the show. She's a little peanut and I love her so. She's my favorite baby in the whole wide world. Oh, it's my little girl. Where's my arrow? There's the arrow right there. Oh, it's behind. Oh, that's right. I can't rotate it that way. I have to go in here. Oh, I wonder if I can... Oh, I can just move it. Oh, I can make it bigger, make it smaller. Got to rotate it. I don't think anybody thought it was going to rotate that way, me included. But yeah. So, that's the end of the Patreon post for the day. Let me catch up with the chat over here, and maybe people will hit the like button while we cruise over here to figure that out. I have to open up my other screen over here so we can figure out what's going on. Somebody mentioned they would give me $100 million bajillion dollars. Give me $1,000 if I do the Barclay Marathon. Like, is that like Charles Barkley? What is this? Barkley Marathon. The Barkley Marathons is an ultra-marathon trail race held in the Frozen Head State Park of Wartburg, Tennessee. If runners complete 60 miles, this is known as a fun run. The race that eats its young. Oh, is Barkley the ultra-marathon guy? Yeah, this is like the original one. The race is limited to a 60-hour period and takes place in late March or early April. Yeah, I couldn't do that. No. $1,000 is not enough for me to try either. Honestly. Somebody would be like, I'll give you $1,000 to do something that might kill you. Like, I don't know. I just don't have time for that. But I don't think I can do it. Bob S. says chat's doing nothing, so you know how that goes. What would you do if you saw a single X-ray tetra in a black Phantom tetra sail tank at a local fish store? I probably would do nothing. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I've probably seen that before. Like, oh man, you got one fish in here? That's weird. I don't know that I would do anything. Personally, probably. I don't know. Let's see. The Kabamba bunches in the back of Johan's 6-foot tank. Looks like Kabamba, yeah. Was not a good enough plant. Mom for the Madagascar lace had to donate it to my local plant club. Alana Suki. That's hard. Burning bag of shrimp crap. From old Captain Spicy. Oh. Let's see. We got a $5 super chat from the Fish Tank Barn. Says, look up the Western States Insane Race. Well, I know that, what's his name? Cameron Haynes does the Bigfoot race, which is like 250 miles, I think. Something like that. It's like an extreme marathon that's like 250 miles, like through the mountains and stuff, which, I don't know. I get it. I get people get obsessed with that stuff. I love going on super long hikes, but I don't think I'm ever going to like run like all crazy like that. But I guess never say never, you know what I mean? Like maybe I'm going to lose my mind and start doing that. I mean, I don't know. I've done some pretty long stuff like that, but I think the most I've done in a day was like 25 miles, I think. I think that's about 25 miles, I think is the most, but you know, it was a long time ago. I was younger and I had the passion. I had the extreme passion for trudging through dangerous wilderness. So, All right, guys. Well, we're coming up on the end of the show because I'm going to go hopefully check out a Makerspace. But I want to give a shout out to our new patronizers today. We got Barbara, we got Sato Vida, and Jacob D. Jake D 663 coming in on the Patreon. Thank you very much, you guys. I definitely appreciate that. We also got to give a big shout out to all of the super chatters today. You guys went crazy. You guys went crazy, go nuts on the super chats today. And as I said, I appreciate it. It's going back into building this makerspace. So, hey, whatever we can do, scrounge it together. It's much easier to throw it onto the Patreon because, I don't know, it's just easier. I feel like it's a better return, you know. And people have asked, like, the join button, like, what's the join button about? It's sort of like if you did a $5 super chat, but it lasts all month because you get a green name. We know who you are. You get to be a member, and, you know, so consider doing that. And I would remind people that Corey did mention that if my channel can get up to 500 members, then we'll consider doing the Real Fish Talk again. Well, he said he would do at least one. So I don't know if we'll ever hit that number, but I'm just saying it because it was a thing that happened. And it might encourage people. I mean, full disclosure, I'm only saying it because it might encourage people to try and get the Real Fish Talk to come back. I don't know. And I enjoy doing the Real Fish Talk, so maybe if we get it to a point where we'll be able to do it, maybe we'll be able to do it. I don't know. But we got a $5 or the Fish Tank Barn, John Gonzalez, Ricardo Santiago, Ginger Graves twice, the Zombie Drummer, Big D Smoke, Millie Gandalf, and Randall Bowman. The big old super chats today. We got one from Bob S. there in the old tip jar for the old $20. Well, thanks, Bob. Coming in there, throwing down a $20. You guys are going wild today, man. It's Friday. You guys must be going wild on a Friday. But I definitely appreciate everybody's super chats, Patreon, all that stuff. We're moving along. We're moving up. It's 2019, and we're just going to keep going. You know what I'm saying? We're going to keep going and doing what we can. And I'm encouraged. I hope you guys are encouraged. I hope you have a great weekend out there. We shall see how things go. We shall see how things continue on. I'm going to go check out this space and see if it's any good. And I want you all to stay good out there. Stay good. If you can't, hey, as my old saying goes, if you can't be good, be great. You know what I'm saying? If you can't be good, be great. That's a much easier way to go about it. If you can't be good, just be great.